up for the action. Feeling still the same. You've got butterflies in the stomach. Your mind is on the game. Play this game of rugby league. Some folks would think you're nuts, but it takes a lot of skill and just plain old-fashioned guts. So whether you're on the cricket ground, Lang Park or the bush, you've still got to run, you've still got to tackle, and the scrums have got the same push. You give it some, you give some more, and you really give your all. Playing rugby league football, it's the greatest game of all. Oh, there's nothing like the spectacle of a test match in full roar, with the forwards charging, backs are stepping, running at full bore. The Pommies and the Kiwis and the Frogs all play real keen, but we take on all comers and Australia reigns supreme. So whether you're on the cricket ground, Lang Park or the bush, you still gotta run, you still gotta tackle, and the scrums have got the same push. You give it some, you give some more, and you really give your all. Playing rugby league football, it's the greatest game of all.
Lawrence will play it just short of the quarterway, places to Lang, across field to Beeston, after Beeston turns it back to Lang. Lang gives it back now to Maninga, standing still. Maninga gives it back to Close, who has to reverse and go back in field. Chris Close is away! He's up the centre, can he get him? He can't! He's in! Run number one! Oh, what a great try! And the crowd have gone with that! Close is in!
So whether you're on the cricket ground, Lang Park or the bush, you still gotta run, you still gotta tackle, and the scrums have got the same push. You give it some, you give some more, and you really give your all.
And Price went through. What a great tackle from Aitchison. But this is where Wigan went all at sea. Instead of getting themselves organised, they just got sucked in. And Courier could see the gap, and he took it. That is a well-taken try. But look at that tackle. That should have saved the day. You'll see the defence go all at sea. Connolly, Bottica, they go far too tight. Bottica goes out wide. He can't stop him. I know he would have been upset. The major factor is the fact that they've got to play out the full six and pass accordingly. Their passing has been astray, but their defence was their biggest problem.
This is a better run though from Tuta. If anyone can spark a revival, he can. And here's Ikram Butt, who gets away from McDermott, is turning him inside out, gets through Aitchison, and is he there? The referee's given the try to Ikram Butt. And that is just what Steve Martin ordered at the start of this second half. Here's Matt Calland. Good tackling, Twigamala and Robinson. Southernwood to Ashton. Here's Casey. Wigan move up so quickly, don't they? Close down all the time. Edwards herring away. And now Pearson is herring away with support from Courier. Has Courier got the legs on a fire? And Edwards, he most certainly has. 2 tries for Courier on his debut. Well, that's the arm that he damaged in the tackle. And Steve Malloy won't give it him back. Ashton. Tuta. Southernwood. Malloy.
Malloy there looking for the second phase of attack, but it wasn't forthcoming.
Courier on a hat-trick. Pearson gets the ball out to Calland, who scored. Well, the match is full of points, full of tries.
All across the line. So Gary S. Price on the field. It's like Leo Case is, is it Leo Casey who's gone off? No, it's Gary H. Price here in the middle. He could do with some new studs in his boots. He's slipping on the turf. So it's James Southernwood to Mark Aston. Mark Aston to Martin Pearson. Martin Pearson just had to wait for that pass that time. Just delayed that little bit. Had to reach out for it behind him. Patrick Kent at there. Made the complete tackle. Martin Pearson there. Got away with that. Never played that ball. Gary H. Price to Graham Southernwood to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there to Brendan Tuta. Brendan Tuta loaded that ball over there to Ikram Butt. Ikram Butt there going for that one. Corner. Matt Calland scores the try in the corner. So it's Daniel Devey. Pushes one man off. Well, good Leeds defence this. That's the third tackle. So it's Sutherwood with the ball now. Sutherwood there, that little dummy. Cool moans and grows from behind the post, but good defence that by Famalo. But that's all on. Ikrenbutt takes that ball. Ikrenbutt running it in. Ikrenbutt going for that try line. Ikrenbutt, does he score the try? Well, he's on his back again. It's unbelievable. That's third time that Rovers have been tackled over the Leeds try line on the backs. Oh, they makes the tackle on Martin Pearson. So it's Sutherwood to Brendan Tota. Brendan Tota gets that ball away to Graham Sutherwood in the tackle. Gives the ball there to Leo Casey. Gets that ball away there. That's all on. Gets that ball there to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy there, that little dummy. Gets that ball up there to Gary H. Price. Gary H. Price there. Gets that ball up there. And who's there on that far side? Matt Callan to go in for his second try of the match. Pearson with the ball in his hands. Pumps the ball into touch on the far side. Now we hear the Rovers draw going up. Richard Gunn, quick to play that ball. Steve Malloy, first man in. That's the first tackle. Rovers 5 more to go. Mark Aston it is. Gets that ball there to River the party, but that's good. Warrington defending. Kelly Shelford. And Ellis. So it's Mark Aston, that little dummy. Mark Aston, Daniel Devey! Daniel Devey! A touch of absolutely brilliant magic there from Mark Aston. Spun round, the Warrington players took the dummy. And Frederick Bouquet there takes that ball just outside his own 20-metre area, runs it in. Up to the halfway line, he's still going. It's Frederick. Frederick's going for the line. Frederick's still going. Gets that ball there to Ikrenbutt. So near yet so far. So Daniel Devey is going in for his second try. Yes! Daniel Devey! Second try of the match. And the two Frenchmen have brought this English crowd to their feet. Just about 8 minutes left for playing this match. Oh, and that's a bad mistake. Ikrenbutt gets that ball. Ikrenbutt. And Warrington are really losing themselves over that right side partnership on that wing. 3 times they've lost the ball on that side in the second half. Really put Rovers. So it's Mark Aston. He gives the ball to Gary H. Price. Gary H. Price. Gary H. Price. Scores the try! Gary H. Price says to Daniel Devey, what you can do in the second row, Gary H. can do also. Once again inside their own half of the field. Steve Malloy there trying to come down the middle. Good defence by Salford. Sam Panaper there makes the tackle, so it's Brendan Tota. Brendan Tota makes the half break. Brendan Tota. That's good play that by Brendan Tota. Shrugging one would be tackle, so it's Mark Aston to Martin Pearson to Daniel Devey. Daniel Devey in the centre. Daniel Devey running strongly, looking for support there. Gets the ball there to Even a Party. Even a Party there to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there to Carl Gibson. That's an absolutely wonderful try. That's for Rovers. But good defence by Salford. Rovers on, that's 3 tackles gone, so it's Mark Aston to Martin Pearson. Martin Pearson there, ball back inside there to Andy Courier. To Gary H. Price. Gary H. Price sees the gap. Gary H. Price there. Gary H. Price. Gary H. Price tackled by Paul Forber. Rovers really buzzing now. Mark Aston with the ball to Martin Pearson. Martin Pearson so strong. Martin Pearson! His upper body strength there was absolutely unbelievable. And that pass there, when Mark Aston gave Martin Pearson that ball, there was no stopping the Great Britain player there. So it's Richard Gunn to Steve Malloy on the first tackle. Good defence that by Richard Webster. So it's Mark Aston to Gary S. Price. Turns round in the tackle, but just couldn't unleash the ball. We're on that Salford 20-metre line. Bob Marsden there, make sure the tackle. So it's Mark Aston there, trying to dummy his way through. Gary S. Price to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy, they tried to stay up. Steve Malloy, they back inside there. And number 14, Graham Sutherwood there, plants the ball between the posts. Brilliant play that by Steve Malloy. Mark Aston it is. He started to dictate things from that acting half-back position. Gary S. Price runs the ball in. He had a lead up to that to Graham Sutherwood try. So it's Mark Aston to Daniel Devey, spinning them ball out wide, putting Daniel Devey, gets rid of the ball, beautiful pass there to Ikram Butt, to Mark Aston, to Martin Pearson. Martin Pearson looking for supporting runners. Martin Pearson there gets that ball up to Leo Casey. Leo Casey's got Mark Aston inside of him. Mark Aston there, an absolutely brilliant play by Leo Casey. Oh, Billy Boston, you're out out because Leo Casey's on that side of the field there. He's playing like a true wingman. Don't run him by this man here, Daniel Devey, and that beautiful ball there to Ikram Butts. Ikram Butt got the ball away to Mark Aston. Mark Aston to Martin Pearson. Martin Pearson to the flying wingman there. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. And Martin Pearson once again through the back gap. And Graham Sutherwood backing up inside, but Martin Pearson going all the way. Martin Pearson tries to get that ball back inside, but passes the ball there to Phil Ford, but Martin Pearson there should have let the ball go inside to Graham Sutherwood. Decided to take Scott Mayhem on. Leo Casey wanting the ball also, but Martin Pearson there thought he could go all the way himself, but brilliant defence. Try saving tackle there by Scott Mayhem there, saved the day for Salford. And from that tackle there, Martin Pearson laying injured on the floor.
Pearson. Calland. Watson diving in at him at the tackle.
Well, the time has come, Eddie, for Martin Pearson and Mark Aston to try to start running at the defence. Weave a little bit of magic. It's not going to be easy, this Bradford said. The defence is moving up in one line, very strong.
And it's the best defence in the big league, conceding only 48 points before tonight. Malloy with that charging run. Here's Aston now. Can he unlock them? Lovely ball to Casey. Ball out wide. They're in. Yes. Second rower, Gary Price. This time it does count. Casey was taken a bit late by Medley and had a very, very stern look at the Bradford second rower. Pearson and Devey.
Finding it very difficult there. Look at that ball and all tackle. Did he lose it?
Yes, he did. Good high kick. Here's a tester for Watson now. Oh, and they come up with it. Featherstone Rovers score the try, and it's Price again. Devey stands in the tackle well.
Played well, Devey. So is this kid here. Ikram Butt.
Casey hobbling to the bench. Stern defence again from Bradford. Malloy. Malloy strongly to the line. Try! That's a barnstorming try from Steve Malloy.
Oh, it's Mark Nixon to Daniel Devey. Daniel Devey now there to leave at a party. Having to backtrack, and Brad Eppie there comes across, makes the tackle on the Rovers centre. So it's Daniel Devey to Mark Aston. Mark Aston now there to Gary H. Price. Looking for that halfway line, but Darren Carter there making the tackle. So it's Brendan Toulter. Brendan Toulter, beautiful ball there to Mark Aston. Back inside there to Graham Sutherwood. And Brendan Toulter there really opened the Rovers, the Workington Town defence up. A brilliant ball there to Mark Aston, putting through the gap. And who was backing up inside? Graham Sutherwood to go over for his second try of the season. Defence. So ball back inside to Gary H. Price. Game's really fast and furious here at Post Office Road. Now it's Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy still going. Brilliant run once again by Steve Malloy. Now it's Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon now there to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there just chipping that ball through. Frederick Bankay after that ball as he scored. Frederick Bankay gets the ball over the line and he scored the try. Brilliant play that once again by Mark Aston. Look, it was in a tricky situation. James Pickering there finally made the tackle. So it's Mark Aston, that long ball out there to Mark Nixon out there to Andy Courier there, bringing Frederick Banquet inside him, so it's Frederick Banquet there, once again having to run back inside, still going the Frenchman, still going that little kick through, it's all on, but Workington Town once again close ranks, that's good defence by Workington, and Frederick Banquet, has he scored the try, that's a try to Frederick Banquet. That's sloppy play by Workington Town, and Frederick Banquet, what a game he's having. Mark Ellis, he's had a fine game in the number 10 shirt for Featherstone Rovers. Excellent slip player, Mark Ellis. So it's Gary H. Price through the gap. Good determined running that by Gary H. But Carly White there making the tackle. Now it's Mark Aston to Danny Devey. Danny Devey going for that try line. Tackled inches short. So it's Mark Aston pushing that ball through, it's all on, and that's a try for Rovers. Once again, Mark Aston there. Just couldn't see who got the touchdown. Even a party it was, because even a party were going that fast, in fact, he scorched the turf. So it's Wayne Kitchener, that's a bad mistake. Danny Devey pounces on that loose ball for the Rovers, just like a panther. Determination from this Rovers team's unbelievable tonight. So different from last week. Now it's Carl Gibson slides through the defence. Carl Gibson still going. Brilliant determined running by Carl Gibson. Fantastic cover tackle that by Kylie White. Saves the day for Workington in that situation. Now it's Mark Nixon now, they're getting that ball out wide. Brendan Toulton to Daniel Devey, and Daniel Devey sidesteps his way through to plant his third try on the board in the Featherstone Rovers colours this season. Along with every one of the Featherstone Rovers players tonight, are going to be out to pick him out of the match, but if I had to pick one, I'd give it to this fella, I'd give it to him. Oh, Steve Malloy there, that little dummy. But Desi Drummond there makes the try-saving tackle on the big prop forward. So it's Mark Nixon there. Oh, so near yet so far. Good defence that by Workington. So it's Andy Courier to Graham Sutherwood, to Brendan Toulton to Danny Devey, and Danny Devey does the double. He says to Frederick Banquet at half-time, you've got 2 tries, countryman, I'm going to get 2, and Danny Devey's just done that. He's got 2 tries, so the French are having a right ball game tonight. Well, they can't say that Workington Town come for the right tonight, because like I've said to you previously, they've made a full day of it. They've had 3 hours at Huddersfield at the Hilton Hotel, relaxation before tonight's match. So it's as if they've just got off the coach after a long journey. They have been down here all day, but Featherstone Rovers are really turning them over in this match. Once again, that big forward there, Danny Devey, he's on hat-trick. And just looking at Frederick Banquet down there, he's biting the bits. He wants an hat-trick. So that run around there, Gary H. Price there, and Andy Courier. That's absolutely rugby league at its best. So Danny Devey felt the impact of that tackle. Still, it's Rovers in possession, just about a metre inside that Workington Town half of the field. So it's Gary S. Price. That's good running by the Rovers, number 15. Gets up, plays the ball, so it's Graham Sutherwood. Graham Sutherwood now there to Gary H. Price. Gary H. Price to Steve Malloy. And Steve Malloy crowns an absolutely exhilarating display off for Featherstone Rovers. And Steve Malloy goes in for his 2nd try of the season. So it's Graham Sutherwood to Neil Roebuck. But that's good defence that by Andy Ireland, making the tackle. So Featherstone Rovers will move the ball out towards us here from left to right. So it's Mark Aston to Matt Callan. Matt Callan now there to Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson on a run. Carl Gibson comes inside. That's good running that by Carl Gibson, but look at them tacklers there from Widnes. Number 6 Andy Ireland, number 11 Lee Hansen making the tackle. So it's Ikram Butt now to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon now there to Mark Aston. Mark Aston now there to Daniel Devey. Daniel Devey through the gap. Daniel Devey turns the ball inside. And Daniel Devey, he goes in for his 5th try of the season.
That's absolutely superb play by Rovers.
To Mark Aston now there to Gary S. Price. So it's Graham Sutherland from acting half-back to Mark Aston back there to Graham Sutherland there to Carl Gibson there trying to struggle through this Widnes defence, but bit of shirt pulling that time. Saved the day for Widnes. So it's Danny Devey there back inside there to Even a party crashing his way over the line for his second try in the Featherston Rovers colours this season after brilliant approach work. O'Neill making the tackle on the big Rovers number 8, so it's Aston to Gary H. Price, and what a beautiful tackle that. Anthony Singleton there, picked him out, made the tackle there. So it's Mark Aston, that little dummy. Mark Aston there to Danny Devey there, so near, yes, so far yet again for the big second row forward. Looks dangerous every time he gets the ball, Danny Devey. Now it's Mark Aston pushing that ball through, it's all on. And Stuart Spruce takes that ball. Oh, he's lost the ball, it's a try! Stuart Spruce lost the ball over the line, and it was the Frederick Banquet there to dive on the loose ball. They're just managing to bring him to the ground. So it's Mark Aston now there to Mark Nixon now there to Even a Party taking Schultzer on. Even a Party, he's over that Halifax 20-metre line. Fifth and last tackle. So Mark Aston there just pushing that ball through, it's all on! Absolutely magic! Carl Gibson there, he just shot through like a bullet out of a gun. Where did Carl Gibson come from? Gaston stopping in the all area. Graham Ellis has to backtrack, pick the ball up. Oh, he's lost the ball in the tackle. It's all on. Graham Sutherland picks up for Rovers. That's good kick and chase by Rovers. Bad mistake by Graham Ellis. So it's Mark Nixon to Danny Devey to Graham Sutherland. And Graham Sutherland gets the try underneath the post. Absolutely scintillating play by Rovers. So Halifax in possession. 10 metres inside their own half the field. Wayne Parker it is. Gets the ball away in the tackle there to Roy Sutherland. Roy Sutherland now there to John Fieldhouse. This is Halifax on the rampage. Pour round it is. Still going. Pour round, but that's a beautiful tackle by Mark Aston. Gets the ball away there. Simon Baldwin for Halifax. Simon Baldwin. Go get that ball away. That's a knock on. And referee there, I just can't understand that awarding the try. The back inside there to Mark Aston. That's good play that by the loose forward and the half-back there. So it's Frederick Banquet there. Looking to get inside that Oldham 20-metre line. Tackle 5 metres short. So it's Graham Sutherland. He'll take the defence on. That's good play that by Graham Sutherland. That's more better adventurous play by Rovers. So it's Sutherland now there to Mark Aston to Danny Devey looking for them gaps. Danny Devey, beautiful pass there to Frederick Banquet, and Danny Devey there puts Frederick Banquet in for his 4th try of the season. But it's that man, the informed player in that Featherston Rovers colours, Danny Devey, what created that try. On the first tackle, so it's Neil Roebuck. Tackled on that Oldham 20-metre line, 2 tackles gone. So Graham Sutherland there, gives the ball there to Mark Nixon there, runs straight at the defence. On the 3rd tackle. So it's Sutherland now, gets that ball away there to Danny Devey. One arm pass back inside there to Leo Casey. Gets that ball away there to Neil Roebuck. Gets that ball away there, he scored the try! Gary Price at the side of the post! Gary Price there! Absolutely brilliant approach work by the Rovers forwards there. So Brendan Toulter is over the halfway line, gets that ball away there. That's good play by Brendan Toulter to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon, he's got Neil Roebuck, fight for the ball. Neil Roebuck, this could be the match winner. Why on earth did he try to get that ball inside? It's still all on. Well, Neil Roebuck looked to try scoring it all the way. Didn't have the legs to go to the line, but Rovers still got pressure on this defence here. It's Lee Senior scores the try for Featherston Rovers. This Rovers team are really buzzing that ball there from Mark Nixon. Gary H. Price there. looking for gaps in this Leeds defence, but none occurring just at the moment. Harmon making the tackle, so it's Mark Aston now there to Steve Malloy there. Good powerhouse running that by Steve Malloy. So it's Graham Sutherwood back inside there, it's Rovers here throwing this ball about. Mike Nixon plays the ball back, it's all on. Rovers here, Mark Aston to Brendan Toulter. Brendan Toulter there now to Matt Callan to Carl Gibson. And Carl Gibson scores the try. Absolutely brilliant play by Rovers. And Carl Gibson going in for his third try of the season. So it's Mark Aston. Oh, and Gary Schofield that played the ball was absolutely offside, and referees, fellas want to steady this down. And even a party to Sutherwood, to Matt Callan. Matt Callan has to turn back inside there to Ickenbutt, and Ickenbutt in the corner. Well, I thought that even a party had made a mistake taking that penalty quickly. 2 points were begging in front of the post, but it proved me wrong. It proved a lot of people on this ground. From that kick-off there, Matt Callan there put even a party, give the ball there to Graham Sutherwood there to Matt Callan, and Matt Callan there stood the Leeds defence up beautiful there to put Ickenbutt over in the score. So it's Gary H. Price there, once again looking for them gaps, but on the second tackle 10 metres short of that Leeds try line. Mick Albrecht for Rovers, Mark Aston with the ball there to Danny Devey there, just couldn't get that ball back inside for Mark Aston. So it's Mark Aston to Brendan Toulter. Has he got the ball down? And they're fighting off the ball, but I'm sure that Brendan Toulter scored the try. I'm just looking down at the field of play there. Brendan Toulter's over that try line. I'm sure that Brendan Toulter's scored that try for Featherstone Rovers. There's no way Brendan Toulter moving away from that ball over that Leeds try line. He's just waiting for the referee's decision, but and still Brendan Toulter stood there with the ball over the try line, but referee's just having a word with Danny Devey and Mark Aston for Featherstone. I just can't see the Leeds players involved. Well, Gary Mercer there's just kicked the ball away. Is the referee going to award the try? The referee's awarding the try, and rightly so. There was nothing in the build-up to stop Brendan Toulter scoring that try. Seeing for Marlow, but once again gut tackling that by Leo Casey. So it's George Mann running out wide. Once again Danny Devey making the tackle. So Featherstone Rovers, Carl Gibson on that blind side, looking for that try line. 3 tries to 4 to Leeds in this match. So it's Mark Nixon, rightly so, stuck to the ball. Kevin Iroh looking for the interception. So it's Brendan Toulter, that beautiful pass to Frederick Bankay, and Frederick Bankay in at the corner, like the flying swan. Brilliant try, brilliant pass there by Brendan Toulter. And Frederick Bankay there going in for his second try of the match. Well, Kevin Iroh kicked the ball away, and in the first half Matt Callan kicked the ball away, got sent
in the sim for 10 minutes. So it's Brendan Tooley. Brendan Tooley, ball back inside there. Even a party. That's all on. Gary Price inside there to Carl Gibson. Brilliant tackle that by George Mann there on Carl Gibson. That saved an absolutely certain try. Brilliant try-saving tackle there by George Mann on Carl Gibson. So it's Danny Devey. Danny Devey, beautiful pass to Mark Callan. Mark Callan underneath the post. Rovers 26. Leeds 30 with a conversion to come.
So it's Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck there, that little dummy. Showing the ball, but Mick Cassidy there, standing no dummies, makes the tackle. So it's Sutherwood with the ball now. Sutherwood there. Gets the ball out there to Leo Casey. Leo Casey there trying to straighten up, coming down the middle of the field. Gives the ball there to Ikram Butt. Ikram Butt there, ball back, it's all on. Gary S. Price has to backtrack, picks the loose ball up. So it's Neil Roebuck. Gives the ball back inside. It's Danny Devey for Rovers. Danny Devey there on that far side. Gets the ball inside there. And it's all on. I think it's Mark Nixon scores the try. Is it Mark Nixon? Brendan Tooley it is. Just can't see up here in the gantry, that far corner. Brendan Tooley there going in for his second try of the season.
From the kick, it reached halfway, but a thunderous challenge from Mark Hilton. Now here's Calland taking on Maguire. Richard Gunn, the dummy half, misses out Tutor, finds Malloy. How Steve Malloy would like to lead the Featherstone Rovers side to victory here today. Malloy, the prop forward for Featherstone now, had 50 appearances for Warrington as he began his career. Devey gets the ball away to Calland. Lovely skill from Calland, and that was Ikram Butt over for... Oh, that was a great try. Possession of the football right now. Malloy. The men, by the way, that Price has replaced is Leo Casey, who has gone off. And there's the other Price, that's Gary H. Gibson, that's a good ball out to Bonke. Bonke dabs it down the line. Soccer skills from Bonke, and he's got the try, I think. He most certainly has. And they were so very, very slow to cut out the danger then, Warrington. Devey. Spinning and doing well, Danny Devey. Always works hard, this tall, long-legged Australian Frenchman. Banquet again, bit of space opens up for him. Ikram Butt is there. The support there from Nixon, and Featherstone are in. Well, we're in for quite a finish now.
That's a poor handling there. He really was looking hard at who was tackling him and thinking about holding on to the ball. That's good, quick handling. Ikram Butt does well there. He could have easily been slid into touch by the Whitehaven defence. Rovers putting Whitehaven under pressure here. Quite enterprising, really, handling in these conditions. Brendan Tutor switches the direction of play. Offloads to Neil Roebuck. And that's a try into the sticks. Don't ask me who it is right now because the player's number's covered in mud. And it's Matt Calland on the score sheet yet again, right? But we really are too deep in our own territory to mount any kind of threat on the Whitehaven line unless something absolutely spectacular happens. Well, something spectacular nearly did happen there as Gary Price made a break out onto the left-hand side of the field, but he's brought down by two Whitehaven defenders. Done by Graham Southernwood, brings in Darren Hughes, who steps inside, and outside again, onto the on-running Carl Gibson, who's going to score under the sticks. Now, excellent football. Really good in and out running by Darren Hughes. Excellent game awareness by Carl Gibson to run onto that ball.
So penalty kick to Featherstone Rovers. Mark Aston quick to take the ball. So it's Steve Malloy looking for that halfway line. Big drive in that by Steve Malloy. Quick play of the ball. So it's Mark Aston back inside there to Leo Casey. Leo Casey, beautiful ball there to Gary H. Price. Gary H. Price there. Gary H. Price! Oh, that was a magic turn of speed. He got the fullback in no man's land, Scott Mayon there. And Gary H. Price goes in for his 4th try of the season. So Brendan Tulty. So near yet so far for Rovers. Last tackle. Gets that ball up, it's all on. But that's back to one, surely. Can they get the ball away here? Gary H. Price goes in the corner. Well, that decision absolutely just mesmerises me here at Port Weldon Lane. I've watched the game, I keep saying it, and the referees are absolutely ranking this game of rugby league. Brendan Tolt it is. So it's Neil Roebuck to Mark Aston there to Gary S. Price and says to Stuart Cummins, disallow that if you dare, and Stuart Cummins dare disallow that Gary S. Price try. Inches short of that Castleford try line, Ikram Butts. Jason Sims ball back now there to Gary S. Price, to Aaron Nicow there. Watching Gary S. Price like an hawk, makes the tackle. So it's Steve Malloy there, goes in. Steve Malloy for his 3rd try of the season. That's no more or no less than Rovers. They've tried out for that try and a tremendous amount of bad referee injuries in this match. Warren Wilson gets a beautiful ball out there to Ikram Butts. Ikram Butts taking Nicow on, having to backtrack. Still going Ikram Butts. Ikram Butts turning this defence down. Ikram Butts still going. Good run by the Rovers number 2, Ikram Butts. So it's Carl Gibson to Neil Roebuck to Mark Aston. Mark Aston to Brendan Tulty. So it's Matt Callan taking this defence on. 5 metres short of that Castleford try line. Neil Roebuck there working the short side. Neil Roebuck, beautiful pass there to Gary S. Price. And Gary S. Price once again, he's just like an action replay, going in for his 2nd try of the match.
He's winning team, and you're with the side that can't win at the moment. No regrets about coming here?
No regrets whatsoever. It's the things in life that you don't do that you regret, and anybody who has the opportunity of going back to the big league, whether you're a player, if you're a player in the 2nd division, then you want to play in the 1st division, and rightly so as a coach or an administrator. You get the opportunity, you've got to take it, and hopefully you're successful in it.
And confident about Friday?
Yes, we are. You know, obviously, we haven't been playing consistently week in, week out, what with the weather and the fixture list, that's disrupted us. But everybody's fit, there'll be no excuses, and we're ready for it.
Tackle signals John Connolly, it's the turnover. Hull eventually surrender the ball to Danny Dive. And so Featherstone now will look for an equalising try here and another couple of points to level matters up as Casey drives it in. Good run from Casey.
This is where Mark Aston has to work the magic with Tutor.
There's Tutor. The 2nd row there is Gary Price. Oh, that's lovely play, and Tutor's come up with it. The call was from Tutor to Price. And as well, we mentioned the fact that Hull have had their injury problems, so too have Featherstone. They're rolling forward now with Southernwood. The support is there from Dive. Dive gets the ball out to Banquet, and that's the French 1-2. Dive with a driving run, and Banquet, the man who Steve Martin called Freddie the Frenchman. But I think Connolly has brought it back. John Connolly has said that was a forward pass. Sensational drive from Southernwood, carried on by Dive, finished by Bonke.
Let's see
this forward.
Let's see it again. No, that's play on. Never forward there. Yet we have not seen Mark Aston explode on the attack yet.
That was Aston with the pass. That's Callum with the pass out wide. Another one has been disallowed for forward pass. Well, I thought it might be tight, and tight it is tonight, as Bottom Club Hull are ahead by 7 points to 6 against Featherstone. 2 points ahead of them in the league ladder. Featherstone with 2 tries disallowed for forward passes. Both sides with a man in the sin bin. And Featherstone running downhill with Malloy, with Bonke. Will he be denied this time? He will not be denied. Ikram Butt, the try scorer. Support Aston now to try and weave some magic in centre field. Price has been doing that all evening, hasn't he? Standing in the tackle, looking for the supporting runners. On that occasion, nobody there. And this is something that Malloy has been doing all night too. And he keeps the movement going. A bit fortunate, perhaps. But here now is Dive. Dive turns in the tackle. He releases the pass. It went backwards. Keep on going, says referee Connolly. Casey out to Calland, and Calland will score! I'll say double movement, but John Connolly says try. Now, the ball to Tuta, and Tuta saw a gap. He went through it. Lovely reverse pass to Malloy, and scrambling defence from Hull to keep him out. But what a beautiful ball that was. Here's Dive, keeping it alive. There's Nadioli, making a meal of it. The ball went backwards, though. And Roebuck able to pop it into the arms of Tuta, who goes for it long out wide. It's all very, very scrappy, but a little bit of space now for Gibson. Sterling's after him, and Sterling pulls him down.
Well recovered there by Sterling. Gibson thought he was away.
Kick across the face. Who wants it? Featherstone do with Dive, and now with Tuta, and Nadioli! He's only been on 2 minutes, and Nadioli does the dance to the dying swan almost as he kicks.
And off we go.
Here's Tuta. Tuta through a little gap. Perhaps Featherstone aren't finished yet. Ball out wide, Nadioli. Good tackle. Great tackle by Gary Nolan. Gary S. Price, the dummy half. Dive. He's running blood to water. Aston. Ball out wide. Gaps appearing out there. Calland brushes away from Sterling. Can't get away from McNamara. Yes, he does. Keeps the movement going. There is Gibson. We're not finished yet. Time for stoppages. Gibson with the try, and they're going to have to take this very, very quickly, this conversion.
And the touch judge there just telling the referee, but I must say that referees in this game, they've got to make sure the players go back 10 metres or 10 yards, and they can't see these forward passes. They must get help from the touch judges, and in that instance, the touch judge gave the referee the help he needed, and Mr. Bates rightly so ordered the forward pass. Well, that's what this game's all about. Officials helping one another. In that case, the decision was exactly right. So Mark Nixon there, being tackled by... So it's Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson is absolutely flying towards that line. And that's an excellent try for Carl Gibson. He's 6th in the Featherstone Rovers colours this season. The kick-off, the Sheffield Eagles player knocks the ball on. So Mark Aston feeds the scrum. It's out to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon ball back inside there to Matt Callan. And Matt Callan just running straight into the thick of the traffic. So it's Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon now there to Warren Wilson. Warren Wilson now there trying to straighten up. Ball back inside. It's all on. And Mark Nixon scores the try. Oh, a lot of luck involved with that, because Sean Hughes there was being tackled into touch on this near side. And Sean Hughes got the ball back inside, and Matt Nixon says thank you very much. Just a reminder that Rovers are still playing with 12 men. Carl Gibson there. Good play by the Rovers centre, Carl Gibson there. So it's Neil Roebuck. Ball back inside. Is that ball away now there? So it's Steve Malloy, but once again, that's good defence by Sheffield. So it's Graham Sutherwood. To Neil Roebuck, to Brendan Tolte, and Brendan Tolte crashes himself over that try line. Roebuck, Gary H. Price, all in the build-up, and Brendan Tolte there crashes over the try line for his 4th try of the season.
In football, good play by Jason Sims. Mark Aston, good ball out midfield to Steve Malloy. Bit of rhythm getting into the Rovers play now. That's a good switch ball to Brendan Toole, who offloads it to Graham Sutherwood. This is much better football. A good shot ball out to Gary H-Price, 5 metres out from the Saints line. Neil Roebuck dummies, switches the ball inside to Graham Southernwood, to Matt Calland. Good short kick. This is surely going to be a try to Rovers. That's a good kick by Matt Calland, followed up, and that's an excellent try after a long period of pressure. This is deeper into Saints territory with a strong drive. If Rovers can get a try on the board, we're still in this game. Gary H-Price gets it to Joe Nadioli, who runs forward hard and strong, offloads well to Matt Calland, to Gary H-Price, to Darren Hughes, who's heading for the line, and he's just brought down by Steve Prescott. Excellent play by Rovers. Out to Danny Devey from Mark Aston, just short of the Saints line, near the posts. A try really would bring Rovers back into this game. It's not over by a long way yet. Out to the right-hand side, Brendan Tudor, out to Matt Calland, to Carl Gibson, who's got over the line for a try. Halfway between the posts and the right-hand corner of the Saints half. And in the tackle, Rovers still going for the 4 points rather than the goal option. All or nothing here today at Knowsley Road in this last 10 minutes of the game, as Steve Malloy drives it forward hard towards the Saints line. Mark Aston, first receiver to Danny Devey. Danny Devey is for the posts. He's brought down 10 metres out. Graham Southernwood switches it right to Brendan Tudor, who switches it back inside to Gary H-Price. Gary H-Price heads for the post. Well, the Saints defence is holding out here under this onslaught of Rovers pressure. Dummy run there from Rovers, and that's a great try. Rovers kept the pressure up, they kept playing football. On the last tackle, Mark Aston puts up the bomb, it's a good one. Steve Prescott spills it, the try on air. Rovers touchdown. It seemed to me that Steve Prescott spilled that. Rovers ran onto the ball, dribbled it over the line to score. He's given the player the ball.
Of that. So Mark Aston feeds the scrum. It's out to Brendan Tudor. Brendan Tudor to Mark Calland. He's going over. Mark Calland goes over for Featherstone Rovers. His 8th try of the season. Rovers won the scrum. Brendan Tudor was fed by Mark Aston. Brendan Tudor, Fred, Matt Calland and Jason Sims takes that awkward pass there off Mark Aston. So it's Mark Aston with the ball for Rovers. That long ball out there. Back inside there. And Rovers, Gary H-Price there, going towards that line. He's tackled about 5 metres short. Graham Southernwood, that long ball out there. Rovers have got to score here. Brett Rogers to Ickenbutt. And Ickenbutt crowns a display off there, as he's been picked for England this week. Goes in for his 5th try of the season. Quick pair of hands there from Brendan Tudor. And Rovers throwing this ball about. So it's all on Danny Devey. That short ball there to Joe Nadioli. Surely a drop goes on the cards here. But Rovers going the blind side. Southernwood there to Brendan Tudor, to Ickenbutt. He crashes in at the corner. Brett Rogers it was. I thought it was Ickenbutt, it was Brett Rogers. All at his kneecaps, took it well, runs it in. But Sonny Wackerall there makes the tackle, so it's Southernwood. To Neil Roebuck, back there to Southernwood, it's all on. Mark Aston gets the ball away there to Brett Rogers. To Ickenbutt is flying out. It's Carl Gibson, I should say. That's all on. That's the try. Carl Gibson got that ball inside. But Sonny Wackerall makes the tackle. Mark Aston with the ball. Mark Aston now there to Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck through the gap. Tony Miller making the tackle. So it's Mark Aston. Beautiful ball there to Danny Devey, to Matt Calland. Inside to Darren Hughes, and Darren Hughes can't do nothing else but score. He goes in for his 1st try in the Rovers colours. Darren Hughes, absolutely magic play. Mark Aston to Neil Roebuck. They've got to stretch him now. Danny Devey holding his legs. Danny Devey, so near yet so far. That's play on Darren Hughes for the ball for Rovers. To Steve Malloy. All he wanted was a pass out, so it's Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck there, and Carl Gibson goes in. O'Connell there penalising Trinity offside there. Quick play of the ball there to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy runs it in. Takes the full shoulder charge there, up his opposite number there, Ian Marlowe, but kept on going. So it's Mark Casson there to Jason Sims. Jason Sims losing his footing, but wasn't on his feet to play that ball. Referee says play on, so it's Mark Aston. Mark Aston now there to Matt Callan there to Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson, a bit of room to work here. Good move by Rovers, that's switching play 2 or 3 times. So it's Brendan Tulty to Neil Roebuck. Beautiful pass there, and Darren Hughes is casing at the corner. And that's Darren Hughes' second try in the Rovers colours. So it's Sutherwood to Jason Sims. Jason Sims there gets that ball to Sutherwood. Sutherwood now there to Mark Aston. Mark Aston, ball back inside there to Brendan Tulty. Straightening up Brendan Tulty! Tackle, Leisha short. So it's Sutherwood to Mark Aston. Good defence by Trinity. So it's Neil Roebuck. Sutherwood scores the try! Graham Sutherwood beneath the ball. All the time in the world. There it goes. Carl Gibson underneath it. Back to 1. Referees are judging that the Trinity player touched the ball on the way. So it's Carl Gibson. Inches short of that Trinity try line. Brendan Tulty. He scored! Brendan Tulty! He's whittled and jiggled his way over the line. Brendan Tulty's 5th try of the season. And no more important, that must have been the most important try that Brendan Tulty scored in the Featherstone Rovers colours. Sutherwood now there to Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck now there to Brendan Tulty. But that'll be the knock on. Unless Jason Sims gets to that ball, that's advantage. So it's Sutherwood. Sutherwood now there to number 8, Steve Malloy. Powering his way down the middle. But good defence that by number 12, Peter White. Now it's Mark Casson to Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck looking for men inside him. Gives the ball there to Jason Sims. And Rovers just losing the way that little bit. So it's Sutherwood. Sutherwood now there to Mark Casson. Mark Casson now there to Brendan Tulty. Brendan Tulty now to Mark Callan. And Mark Callan there rise the tackle. An attempted tackle there by number 3, Roy Robinson. And Matt Callan there just went through him like a hot knife going through. But so it's Darren Hughes. Darren Hughes now there to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there. Mark Aston. That's good play by Mark Aston. Gets the ball there to Darren Hughes. Darren Hughes there just couldn't slip that ball there to Gary H-Price. Danny Devey from acting half-back now. Danny Devey now there to Mark Aston. Mark Aston now there to Brendan Tulty. Brendan Tulty now there to Matt Callan. Matt Callan ball back inside there to Brendan Tulty. This ball's moving like a hotcake across this line. It's number 12, Gary H-Price. Gary H-Price goes in. That's absolutely magnificent rugby league by Featherstone Rovers. That ball was like an hotcake going from left to right, then it come from right to left, and Gary H-Price finally got the ball, said enough of this. Run. Good defence that. Number 11 getting out of the pack very quickly there. Chris Hanna making the tackle. So it's Sutherwood now to Danny Devey. Danny Devey. Danny Devey through the gap. Is he going to go all the way? Danny Devey. I think he will do. Gets the ball to Mark Aston, and Mark Aston to Gary H. Absolutely scintillating play that by Danny Devey. So it's Mark Aston, and Mark Aston couldn't get the ball out there, but he just this time gets it to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy there. Steve Malloy going there. Gets the ball there. That's a beautiful try there to Brett Rogers. But that try there set up absolutely brilliantly there by Danny Devey. And Boreman there losing the ball in the tackle. Right beneath us here, where we are on the game. Oh, and Brendan Tulty, brilliant pick up that by Brendan Tulty. Brendan Tulty, beautiful ball there to Brett Rogers. Absolutely beautiful ball that's by Brendan Tulty. Quick play of the ball, Ikram Butts to Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson is on the sunny side. The sun started shining. Here at Post Office Road. So it's Ickram Butts to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy there powering towards that line. Gets that ball up there and Graham Sutherwood says thank you very much Steve Malloy. He's having a blinder, Steve Malloy. He's just set the last 2 tries up and Graham Sutherwood says I'll follow you Stevie boy. Keep that Barrow 20-metre line. So it's Neil Roebuck to Mark Aston. Mark Aston looking for us inside. Gives the ball there to Brendan Tutor. Gets the ball there to Mark Aston to Jason Sims. Somebody's got to run forward with the ball. Quick play of the ball there. Mark Aston there to Joe Nadioli. Joe Nadioli there. Just couldn't get that ball inside there to Gary H. Price. So Brett Rogers, has he scored? He has. Brett Rogers scores his 2nd try of the match. Good individual effort there by Brett Rogers. Every Barra player was on the open side tackle. So it's Brett Rogers to Mark Aston to Brendan Toter. Took it in his stride. Brendan Toter there. Gets that ball out. It's all on. The ball goes back. That's play on. Danny Devey gets that ball. 10 metres inside that Barrow half of the field. Who's there to play the ball? Nobody. Brendan Toter there. Brilliant play that by Brendan Toter. Beautiful pass off the floor there to Gary H. Price. So it's Mark Aston there. Steve Malloy and Matt Callan. Matt Callan there, salutes the crowd. But once again, it's that man again, Steve Malloy. He's had an hand in nearly 4 or 5 tries this afternoon, and Matt Callan there going in for his 2nd try of the match. Rovers bringing that ball out of defence onto the attack. We're in Barra's half of the field. Mark Aston with the ball now there to Danny Devey. Danny Devey looking for runners inside him, outside him. But Barra's defence getting across. So it's Matt Callan. Matt Callan now gets that ball up there for Neil Roebuck to Jason Sims. Jason Sims gets that ball now to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy taking this defence on. Gives the ball there to Mark Nixon. And it's Brett Rogers, I will say. And Brett Rogers, he goes in for his hat-trick. Once again, brilliant play that by Stevie Malloy. So Mark Aston feeds the scrum. Carl Gibson looking for the ball. And Carl Gibson's really on a flyer. And number 2, Richard Creedy coming across. But Carl Gibson's going to beat everybody. Oh, that's a sensational try for Carl Gibson. And everybody rises to the feet. That's an 80-metre if ever you saw one. There, Bradford Northern player knocking on first. Barry McDermott, I think it was, who knocked the ball on first. So Mark Aston feeds the scrum. We're just bang on the halfway line. So Brendan Toter there, trying to get round his opposite number. So it's Mark Nixon, 10 metres inside. That's Bradford Northern half of the field. Mark Aston with the ball there, passes that ball back inside. So Steve Malloy tackle just about on that. That's a sloppy play of the ball. So it's Featherstone over to Matt Callan. Matt Callan through the gap. He's got men on his side. Beautiful pass there. That's a good try for Rovers. Inside Bradford Northern's half of the field. Score still level, 4 points each. So that's all on. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's a beautiful ball. This is Rovers. This is Rovers going to score a try. Featherstone Rovers, Mark Nixon scores the try, 10 metres outside of the post, and that was brilliant play back by Rovers. Mark Gasson trying to bring the runners onto him, so Rovers just about on that Bradford Northern 20-metre line. So it's Mark Gasson there. Mark Gasson getting that ball back. And Featherstone Rovers underneath the post. Are we looking for a drop goal here? Rovers 6 points to the good up to press, so it's beautiful ball there. Oh, getting that ball out wide. Oh, and it's Darren Hughes. Darren Hughes is in the corner.
Darren Hughes once again gets in at the corner.
Well, what happens in this match after that first dodgy 15 minutes in this second half where Bradford North threw everything at Featherstone Rovers, coming up with 2 tries. Featherstone Rovers deserved to win this game overall. By far the superior side in the first half, so Brendan Toulton it is. He's driving it in, he's tackled 10 metres short of that Bradford Northern try line. Well, don't ask me all that is, because I'm absolutely baffled with the players up here where I'm the back of the stand. But I know Rovers are in possession of the ball, working the bar side. Steve Malloy! Steve Malloy! Steve Malloy scores the try, and that surely must be the match winner. Steve Malloy there, and I'm sure Teddy Mulaney got that on camera. He's shaking like a leaf. He gave one loud shout. It was Teddy stood at the side of me. No. So Brendan Toulton. Brendan Toulton, Neil Robert, just giving that ball through. It's a knock on. That's a knock on. It'll be Featherston's feed at the 10 metres from that Salford try line. Good pressure by Rovers in this first minute of the game. So it'll be Mark Aston to feed the scrum. That little kick through there by Neil Roebuck. Just creating a little bit of panic there in that Salford defence. So it's Brendan Toulton gets that ball from Mark Aston. Brendan Toulton! Brendan Toulton absolutely sizzles through! Steve Blakely tackle there was non-existent, but Brendan Toulton, his strength and his determination. The man's got his attitude right today. James Sutherwood now there to Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck there to Danny Devey. And Danny Devey there, tackle 15 metres, are we in for the drop goal here? All these points of pressure, so it's Sutherwood with the ball. Sutherwood there looking for runners outside him, gets that ball there to Brendan Toulton. Brendan Toulton there to Mark Aston, and that was absolutely brilliant play by the Rovers stand-up by Brendan Toulton. He just juggled with the ball. He sucked 3 Salford players into him before he parted with the ball, and who was there? Mark Aston says thank you very much, Toots. Follow me, lad. You won't go for so far wrong, so Mark Aston feeds the scrum, and it's Brendan Toulton got the ball. He's taking the defence on. He scored a try in the first minute of that with that moment in Brendan Toulton, but not this time. So switch a play to Mark Aston, to Danny Devey. Danny Devey! Danny Devey scores the try in the corner! The Frenchman there took a 3-man Salford tackle, and he absolutely floored him out of the way. So it's Frederick Bankay. But Frederick Bankay there absolutely screaming for the ball. Perhaps that Carl Gibson can't understand French, and we don't know. We'll have to ask him about that after the match. So it's Ikram Butt. Just steadying things down. 2 minutes left for play. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 24. Are we in for an absolutely fantastic win here? So it's Leo Casey trying to drive through tackles. So it's Sutherwood to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there to Brendan Toulton. Brendan Toulton, when he gets that ball, the crowd goes buzzing. He gets that ball up here to Darren Hughes. Darren Hughes back inside, and it's back. It's Ben Rogers. Ben Rogers, and every time Brendan Toulton's touched this ball in the second half, something's magical's happened.
Get off your big self.
So it's Sutherwood to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy there running it in, gives the ball there to Jason Sims. Jason Sims there to Frederick Bankay. Frederick Bankay down this touchline side. Just manages to keep in on this snare touchline side. So it's Sutherwood with the ball now there. To Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck taking the defence on, getting the ball back inside there to Mark Aston, to Brendan Toulton. To Sutherwood. Sutherwood now there to Danny Devey. Danny Devey there to Frederick Bankay. And Frederick Bankay dives in at the corner. That's absolutely sizzling play by Featherstone Rovers. Beautiful play, moving that ball from left to right and then from right to left. The first tackle. Now it's Ikram Butt from acting half-back. That's the second tackle. Kurt Soderson in there at the tackle. So it's Steve Malloy on the third tackle. Billy Fisher in his way that time. That's good driving in by Rovers. First Brendan Toulton, Ikram Butt, now Steve Malloy. Now Mark Aston, switch a play. Mark Aston there, gives it there to Danny Devey. Danny Devey got man outside him. Can he get the ball in the tackle? He can't. So he gets the ball there to Darren Hughes, and Frederick Bankay in the corner for his second try. Brilliant play that Darren Hughes there.
Danny Devey got that ball in the centres, drew 3 Whitehaven men to him, gave the ball there to Darren Hughes, and Darren Hughes there slipped a peach of a pass there to Frederick Banquet, and Frederick Banquet there going for his second try of the match. It's Whitehaven 8, Featherstone Rovers 10 at this moment, but another try here, so it's Brendan Tote with the ball, Brendan Tote to Darren Hughes cutting back inside, just couldn't get the reverse pass there to Brendan Tote, but Frederick Banquet now from acting half back. Frederick Banquet will take this ball in. Trying to claw the way towards that Whitehaven try line. James Sutherland there on the thing. Beautiful ball here. And it's Neil Rowe. Is it Neil Roebuck? Is it Neil Roebuck that scored the try? Neil Roebuck. Threw the ball away in disgust. He know the mistake what he made. So it'll be Mark Casson to feed the scrum. The ball's in, it's out. Switch of play. Neil Roebuck gets that ball to Frederick Banquet, and it's in! Frederick Banquet goes in for his hat-trick of tries. Absolutely scintillating play by Rovers. Brendan Toole to come to the home side. The Whitehaven players followed him. Mark running through like a big raging bull, breaking that first line of defence. Now it's Leo Casey. Takes the tackle there off Billy Fisher. Yeah. Now it's Gary H. Gary H has got men outside into Mark Nixon, and Mark Nixon goes in. He's unopposed, plants the ball down, and that was absolutely brilliant play that by Danny Devey. It was Danny Devey made the break and threw out an absolutely peach of a pass there to Mark Nixon, and Mark Nixon did all he had to do was catch the ball. And Featherstone this time, Jason Sims says thank you very much, intercepts the ball, and we're on, and Brendan Tote with the ball here on this side, back inside there to Carl Gibson. Oh, he can't, just couldn't get away. If Carl Gibson could have just evaded that tackle with us in a 50-yarder that time. So it's Mark Nixon taking this defence on, but Billy Fisher there gets to grips with him, brings him down. So it's Ikram Butt. Ikram Butt to Mark Casson, to Gary H, to Brent Rogers. Brent Rogers going for the try line. Brent Rogers will be the cover coming across. But I must say that there was a forward pass in the build-up there. There was a forward pass, but referee says play on. Them extra few yards that time by the Rovers substitutes. So it's Roebuck to Mark Aston. Danny Devey gets the ball inside there. Mark Aston gives the ball there to Ikram Butt. And Rovers to Jason Sims. Jason Sims back there to Ikram Butt. Ikram Butt back inside to Brendan Toole. Rovers really throwing this ball about like a bar of soap. Leo Casey. And once again, the Rovers supporters really rising to that moment. Now it's Jason Sims. That little dummy inside. Jason Sims is out of two. Gets the ball round the man. It's all on. And it's Mark Nixon to Frederick Banquet. And Frederick Banquet goes in for his fourth try of the match. And that's absolutely scintillating play by the Rovers side. 20-metre area. Doncaster there really desperate measure, kicking the ball in goal. So it's Brendan Tote. Brendan throw that long ball out there to Darren Hughes. Darren Hughes there taking this defence on. Just strong run that by Darren Hughes, standing up in the tackle. So it's Danny Devey from acting half back. Turns the ball back inside to Graham Sutherland. Graham Sutherland there to Leo Casey. Leo Casey got men outside him. Takes the defence on, just couldn't get rid of the ball. So it's Sutherland. Sutherland there to Carl Gibson. It's Carl Gibson there, just tackling to short of that line. So it's Sutherland. That little kick forward, it's all on. And that's brilliant play, that by Brendan Tote. Referee wiping the tackles off. Brendan Tote really putting his body on the line that time. So it's Mark Aston! Mark Aston, who's just going for Rovers. A superb dummy there by Mark Aston. But that try coming, that little kick through by Graham Sutherland. In first by Fred Banquet, then by Leo Casey. Now it's Sutherland, change of direction. So it's Danny Devey. Danny Devey! So near yet so far. Brilliant try saving tackle there by Sonny Wackero. So it's Mark Aston to Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck tackle 5 metres short of that Doncaster try line. So it's Sutherland with the ball. Sutherland there to Mark Aston, goes in, and that was an absolutely sizzling pass there by Graham Sutherland, putting Mark Aston in there.
No Wembley-itis for Featherstone. They should be safe in Division 1 now, and with Leeds to come at Ellen Road, they're hitting peak form.
That big drive in by Steve Malloy, gets rid of the ball to Graham Sutherland. That's good play by Steve Malloy. to Neil Roebuck. So it's Sutherwood to Brendan Toolter, to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there to Joan Adioli. Good running that by Joan Adioli, but also a good tackle that. Andy Northey making the tackle. So it's Jason Sims. But Sonny Little there, wrapping Jason Sims up. So it's Sutherwood now from acting halfback to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there, that little grubber kick, it's all on. Oh, it's a try! Carl Gibson! Carl Gibson there. Steve Prescott there, and number 5, Andy H, just looking at one another. Are you going to pick it up? No, I'll pick it up, Andy. I'll pick it up, Steve. And Carl Gibson says you're too late because I've scored, and Carl Gibson did just that. And St Helens caught offside. So it's Neil Roebuck to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there to Carl Gibson. And Phil Beavers there makes the tackle. So it's Brendan Toolter there to Joan Adioli on that far side, tackling to short. So it's Mark Aston to Neil Roebuck to Leo Casey. He's on the field, is Leo Casey. I just can't say, I think it's Jason Sims what's gone off. So it's Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck to Danny Devey. Danny Devey to Ickern Butts. And Ian Pickavance there spotting the danger, so it's Sutherwood. That's all on to Mark Aston, to Mark Nixon! And Mark Nixon scores Rovers' second try of the match. To feed the scrum. Good play that by Brendan Toolter and Mark Nixon, that hard tackle there on Steve Prescott. So it's Carl Gibson. Mark Healy there moving up quickly, making the tackle on the Rovers fullback. So it's Steve Malloy, Steve Malloy. Driving that ball in. So Sutherwood there, back inside there to Toolter. Toolter going for that try line. He's trying to wriggle his way over. Scores a try! Brendan Toolter, absolutely. Well, he ought to get him on mastermind because Magnuson can't find a contestant who can think that quick like Brendan Toolter can. Phil Beavers, we want to get out of this hole if we can. Sutherwood with the ball now there. To Brendan Toolter, to Mark Aston. Mark Aston back inside there to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy's on the charge. Steve Malloy gets that ball there for Brendan Toolter. Brendan Toolter cutting back inside. So it's Sutherwood to Mark Aston. Mark Aston, Joan Adioli to Brett Rogers. Brett Rogers, plenty of room on this side, but he saw a bit more than me. So it's Mark Aston! Stop me if you can, says Mark Aston. And nobody could, because he goes in for his 5th try of the season, and Rovers are right back in it. To St Helens 23. Set to 6 for Rovers. Joan Adioli up to the halfway line. So it's Sutherwood to Brendan Toolter on the short side. But good defence that by Andy Northey. So it's Brett Rogers. Brett Rogers there. Runs direct to Jonathan Neal, the biggest man on the field, but he stood his ground in Brett Rogers. So it's Mark Aston to Neil Roebuck. Back there to Mark Aston to Danny Devey! Danny Devey! Oh, Danny! Oh, Danny boy! Danny Devey! Straight through the gap! Oh, Danny boy! Myself talking, never mind, think up here on the gantry. And Darren Hughes is only one way, he knows how to run, does Dazzy. He'll straighten up, he'll go straight forward. Leo Casey, what a run. I know it was. And back to Darren Hughes, he's having another go, it's Darren. Darren's having another go, Darren Hughes. Oh. What a run by the Rovers wingman. So strong. Steve Malloy. Quick play the ball, Sutherwood. Roebuck. Mark Aston, it's all on to Ickern Butts. Ickern. Sutherwood. To Roebuck. 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 Real Roebuck. And at the post.
sides haven't had too far to travel. Featherstone, fans in abundance, plenty of leads as we might expect. But Richard Duckingfield has already spoken to the two camps, and David Ward, the Featherstone boss, assures us there will be plenty of tries.
I think it'll be a high-scoring game, 30 to 20 in that region. I think the game will go right down to the last quarter, really.
They've won 9 out of 10 games, and obviously they've got their act together now, but we're very confident.
We might need it, we might want it a little bit more than Leeds.
All we've got in our minds is getting to Wembley in the first place. Once we've got that over with, then we'll set the Wigan in stride.
Richie Ayres, Steve Malloy. Featherstone renowned for packs of forwards in the past. Players like Malcolm Dixon, Jimmy Thompson have often led the charge in the Rovers colours, and this is a good six. Aston to Uta, short pass there to Gary Price. Gary H. Price as he's known, because of course they also have a Gary S. Price not playing today. Leeds, in fact, were practising their defence not half an hour ago. Short pass, intercepted by Gary Schofield. Now then, has he got the pace to go all the way? I think he is. Carl Gibson's leading the race for him, but Gary Schofield with a sensational try at the corner. It picked up nicely. Brendan Tawuta, he's got support inside him. McCallan. That's a nice inside pass. Devey. On the fifth tackle. Featherstone swinging it across to Uta. He's got plenty of support out wide here. Price. Oh, he's got support out there. And he's in at the corner. Ikram Butt, the former Leeds player, strikes against his own club. And Featherstone back on level terms. This right wing is a very powerful lad. Good runner. Price.
He's had a very strong opening, Gary H. Price.
Good run there from the acting half-back position by Southernwood. Aston trying the high kick. Oh, that's a dangerous hanging ball. Callan's underneath it! Oh, superb effort! McCallan! Richie Ayres trying to get this Leeds momentum going. And that is exactly what we were saying, the territorial advantage to Featherstone. But here is Jim Fallon. Fallon himself going for the line. Oh, the dummy from the big man, the former Bath Rugby Union player. Confidence there from Fallon. That sudden break out wide. Oh, eager to get that ball back into play. Schofield again, at first receiver, looking for the drop goal. Charged down again, but play on. Neil Harwood with his first touch and crashing to that line. Ellery Hanley going for the try! And Ellery Hanley is in for another try! He's coming all the time, shrugs off a couple, he's got Lowe's with him. Lowe's, he's got support outside by Marlow, he's got Alan Tate, Jim Fallon's in at the corner! Fallon in at the corner for his second try! Leeds with a sequence of 6 tackles here now by Marlow to Schofield. Oh, good play by Holroyd. He's got Gary Schofield with him, but I think he'll go himself. Oh, tremendous solo effort from the youngster to Iro. Leeds really moving this ball around. Iro sprinting for the line. He's got Hanley again. Tries the dummy to Jim Fallon. Fallon back inside to Ellery Hanley. And there is another try for Ellery Hanley. Congratulations from Gary Schofield. Oh, Alan Tate sidestep Daniel Devey. Nobody will catch this fullback. Wonderful try from Tate. There was no second line of defence. There was no... To Naidoli. Well, offside. Mr. Campbell played advantage, offside, another 6 tackles for Featherstone Rovers. Aston, short pass to Malloy, looks for the support, Danny Devey's there, and Daniel Devey will score. Play on, says referee Mr. Campbell, and it's Mark Nixon trying to run the length of the field. Vasilakopoulos is with him, and Vasilakopoulos catches him. Good run from the lead substitute. Aston, back to Naidoli, he's ran well since he came on. Danny Devey gets the ball to Callan. Callan looks for the support. Back inside to Brendan Tawuta. Back there to Graham Southernwood. Wonderful support play. And that's testimony to the fitness of this Featherstone Rovers side.
So it's Richard Gunn. Richard Gunn now from acting half back to Joe Nadioli. Good defence by Hull. So it's Richard Gunn to Mark Aston. Mark Aston here just puts that ball over. It's all on. Carl Gibson after that ball. This is a good play. Carl Gibson here to Matt Callan. And Matt Callan strolls in. Matt Callan going in for his 12th try of the season.
Can't offload. Graham Southernwood's going to get the ball out to Mark Aston, who brings the ball inside to Darren Hughes. Darren Hughes gets to the 20-metre line. With Graham Southernwood out to Mark Aston, to Mark Nixon. This is good football from Rovers. A great inside run there by Gary H-Price. He's brought up in his tracks there by Michael Jackson. Mark Nixon to Jason Sims. Manages to offload, does he? No, he doesn't. He's kept onto that ball well there. I thought he'd let go of it. That's a dummy there with a dummy runner by Leo Case. The ball switched back inside. And that's Graham Southernwood. That's good play by Graham Southernwood. He started things off there. Good ball out to Richard Gunn and a return pass to Graham Southernwood, who goes over under the sticks for a well-taken try.
O'Neill Roebuck puts both to ball. Chris Smith getting back. Jason Flowers it is. Decks that ball inside his own 20-metre area. Runs it out and Jason Sims makes the tackle. So it's Simon Middleton off his wing, runs in field. Simon Middleton looking for the gaps. Well, Gary H-Price there, quick to make the tackle. So it's Lee Ireland, got strong run, that lost the ball in the tackle. That's Rovers play. Richard Gunn there getting the ball there to Gary H-Price over the halfway line. So it's Southernwood. Southernwood now there to Jason Sims. So it's Richard Gunn. Tackle just short of that Castleford 20-metre line. So Neil Rowe with the ball now there to Brendan Toole. That little kick through, it's all on. Danny Devey picks that loose ball up. Danny Devey there gets the ball to Owen Simpson. And the first bittle up that Rose have had all night. That little kick through there by Brendan Toole, ricocheted off a Castleford defender. Danny Devey picked the ball up, fed Owen Simpson, and Owen Simpson goes in for his first try of the season. Matt Calland it was. He had a blood bin while that one then went on, so it's Neil Robert with the ball, that little dummy. But chance here for Owen. Sheffield's offside on this side. Steve Malloy with the ball there. Calland it is, Matt Calland on that far side. And Bryce Odge, he stood inside Featherstone Rovers 3/4 line here when Featherstone Rovers played that ball. Referee says play on. That's the third tackle. So it's change of play now. Just a good play, Owen Simpson. Oh, an absolutely peach of a ball. What it Neil Roebuck? Neil Roebuck it was, absolutely thrown a peach of a pass out there, and the one Owen Simpson there, I think he got a cig in his mouth. It all the time in the world just to stroll over. So Matt Calland halfway through the gap. So it's Brett Rogers from acting half-back. Brett Rogers runs it in. Good 15-metre run that by Brett Rogers on the second tackle. Now it's Danny Devey on the short side. He's run the ball in. That's on the third tackle. We're up to that Sheffield Eagles 20-metre line. So it's Richard Gunn to Neil Roebuck to Alex Thompson. Alex Thompson now there to Brendan Toole. That long ball out there to Frederick Bankay. Frederick Bankay kicks the ball on. The chase is on. Frederick Bankay after that ball. Frederick Bankay's going to score here. He has done. Frederick Bankay is the Featherstone Rovers hero tonight. 2 magnificent goals.
and he had the sense there to kick the ball on. Mark Gamson come across, Frederick Banquet there, just kicked the ball inside him, ricocheted off Mark Gamson's legs, and Frederick Banquet there won the race for the touchdown. Sheffield, Rovers just inside that Sheffield legal half of the field. So it's Owen Simpson for Rovers. Owen Simpson is round his man. He's skating down that touchline side, comes back inside Owen Simpson. That's good play by the Rovers wingman. Left Anthony Farrell absolutely for dead. So it's Rovers. Danny Devey runs the ball in field. Still going big Danny Devey there. Wanting to unleash the pass. Just couldn't get his pass out. We're on the last tackle at Sheffield Eagles try line. Brendan Toulter throws that ball out there to Matt Callan. It's all on. Who's got the ball on that far side? Has he scored? Oh, what it beats. Brendan Toulter scores the try. It's impossible for me to see it up in the gantry, but Harry H. Price through the gap. Looking for that Widnes 20-metre line. It's still Widnes 6, Rovers 0. So it's Brett Rogers spinning out to one tackle, gets that ball out wide there to Jason Sims. Jason Sims there to Ikram Butt. Ikram Butt running at the defence. He's out to one tackle. He's out to two. He's still buzzing Ikram. He's still going. Gets that ball there to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy power out in towards that line. He's tackled inches short. And that's got to be offside, surely. So that ball into Owen Simpson. Has he scored the try? Owen Simpson, that's absolutely brilliant thinking that by Graham Sutherwood. That long ball out there to Brendan Toulter there to Leo Casey, a delayed pass. Leo Casey to Carl Gibson. And that looked like an eye tackle to me, but referee said get on, play the ball. So it's Danny Devey. Tackle inches short. Desperate stuff from with the Widnes defence. So it's Sutherwood to Brendan Toulter. To Matt Callan. Matt Callan. Oh, Frederick Banquet scores the try. Frederick Banquet, magic stuff by Brendan Toulter and Matt Callan, and that ball bobbled up on the two players' hands before finally Frederick Banquet got the bounce he wanted. The first tackle. So it's Sutherwood to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon ball back inside there to Leo Casey. Leo Casey changing direction. That's the second tackle. So it's Sutherwood to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon now there to Brett Rogers, straightening up. Good defence by Widnes. So it's Danny Devey to Matt Callan. Has Matt Callan scored? He has. Absolutely scintillating run there by Matt Callan. He said, give me the ball. And he just shoved them out of the way like yo-yos. So it's Matt Callan. Matt Callan, this ball's got to come out wide. And again. And it's Brett Rogers. Brett Rogers inside there to Frederick Banquet. We're on the last tackle. So it's Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon there, that little kick, it's all on. Mark Nixon retrieves the ball. Referee wipes the tackles off. It's a try. Is it Graham Sutherwood? I just can't see who it is. Steve Malloy it is from acting halfback. Anthony Singleton tackling Jason Sims here, so it's Danny Devey. What good defence this time by Widnes. Now it's Brendan Toulter. He's over the halfway line. He's running, still running. Brendan Toulter gets that ball through to Leo Casey. And Leo Casey says, get out of my way. That's absolutely scintillating running by Brendan Toulter and by Leo Casey. Now it's Brett Rogers to Matt Callan. Ball back inside there for Frederick Banquet. And Frederick Banquet scores to try in the corner. And it's rampant Rovers. It's rampant Rovers now. Carl Gibson round Tony Thornley. So it's Sutherwood. So it's Steve Malloy. Driving towards them posts. Tackle 10 metres short. So it's Sutherwood to Brendan Toulter. Brendan Toulter to Brett Rogers to Matt Callan. And Matt Callan in at the corner. And Brendan Toulter answers his critics back. When I say critics, the referee and the Widnes team. by creating that try for Matt Callan on this near side.
We're full marks to these two teams. Both got good traditions, especially Featherstone Rovers, looking back at the records since they joined the league in 1921-22. It's unbelievable. Featherstone Rovers have won every honour in the game. Maurice Lindsay's come across and saying, I'm sorry, Featherstone Rovers have got to cease to exist. 10 metres away from the Oldham line, 4 more tackles in this sequence of 6, so it's Leo Casey. Leo Casey will drive it in. That's good driving that by Leo Casey. Succumbs to a 3-man Oldham tackle on the 3rd tackle, 2 metres short from the Oldham try line. So it's Mark Nixon to Brendan Toulton. Brendan Toulton just has to check, comes back inside, gives the ball there to Matt Callan. Matt Callan, oh, it's dangerous stuff, but that's back to on. Owen Simpson gets that ball to Matt Callan. Matty Callan there runs it in. Matt Callan there to Frederick Bankay. Frederick Bankay there to Owen Simpson, cuts back inside. But that's good tackling, that should be back to on. So it's Rovers on the 2nd tackle, 2 metres still short at Oldham try line, looking for the first try in the match. So it's Steve Malloy to Jason Sims. Rovers in the middle of the park, this where they can make the most from, so it's Mark Nixon. That long old ball there to Matt Callan. Matt Callan, that little dummy! And Matt Callan, 2 tries on 39 again witness, opens his account today. So it's Matt Callan. Matt Callan now to Joan Adioli. So it's Sutherwood to Mark Nixon to Brendan Toulton. Brendan Toulton there. Brendan Toulton there, taking this defence on. Good play that by Rovers. Frederick Bankay on this wing, so it's Sutherwood now there. Sutherwood gives the ball there to Mark Nixon. He's testing more Robin Hart. And who's got that ball? Frederick Bankay! Oh, he's an hero! 4 out of 4 goal kicks, and that high kick, it was a New Zealand French connection. Mark Nixon kicked that ball up. The ball had got snow in it, it went that high, and over there, Frederick Bankay picked the ball out of the air. So it's Graham Sutherwood. Graham Sutherwood there now to Frederick Bankay over the halfway line. Rovers make another substitution. Leo Casey coming off. Oh, and Brett Rogers took that ball. Brett Rogers, he's got Mark Nixon, he's inside. Mark Nixon, and that's a superb try. Brett Rogers gives the ball there, break through the first line of defence, and Mark Nixon there coming across, went to his left-hand side, and all the Oldham team could just do was just looking awesome. And somebody's lost the boots, so it's Frederick Bankay. 17 yards, 17 metres from them, that Oldham's post, so it's Leo Casey from the inside pass there by Steve Malloy. Once again, another good run that by Leo Casey. He's met some yardage in this half. So it's Alex Thompson, no, Alex Thompson! And Stevie Gartland there, just tapped to get him by round the collar, so it's Steve Malloy! There were no stopping Big Stevie there. He meant having a try, and that book could be the last try scored on this Post Office Road ground, but it's not to support anything to do with it. So Carl Gibson there. So Richard Gunn back onto the field after his 10 minutes in the sin bin. Carl Gibson over the halfway line from that Steve Malloy pass. Oh, and Dave Topping, Paul Topping here. So it's Alex Thompson here. To Brendan Toulton there to Brett Rogers there to Steve Malloy to Frederick Bankay. Frederick Bankay kicks that ball on, and Frederick Bankay is absolutely blown the house down. So Carl Gibson just side-foot it over the post. It's Rovers 36, goal to Carl Gibson, Oldham 40.
So there goes the final Ulster here. Keep watching it. From Post Office Road, tremendous scene now in the middle. I'll just give you the scorers for Featherstone Rovers. Frederick Bonke 2 tries, Matt Callender try, Mark Nixon a try, Steve Malloy a try, Carl Gibson 1 goal, and Frederick Bonke 7 goals. In reply, Oldham 14, Darren Abraham a try, Joe Fanalo a try, and Paul Stopping 3 goals. Rovers 30, Oldham 14, and the scenes here absolutely unbelievable out in the middle of the field.
And into the season for Rovers, and both these sides do not know what they're doing next year. First division on merits. What will happen? It's in the land of the gods. Let's be hopes that we're seeing Oldham play down on this field next year at Post Office Road. Great scenes here at Post Office Road. And everybody in the stand standing up, and like there should be, an absolutely great occasion here at Post Office Road. Sight for sore eyes if anybody wants to see a sight like this. It's absolutely unbelievable. You've got to be here to soak the atmosphere up. Unforgettable scenes here at Post Office Road. And like I've just said previously, let's just hope that these two teams are playing rugby league football on this ground next year, because that's not only what the Featherstone Rovers people want, it's what the Leeds supporters want, the Wings supporters, every supporter in the land wants Featherstone Rovers to stop in the rugby league and keep Post Office Road alive, and more of all keep the name Featherstone Rovers going.